Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wrap Up Live. A little bit of a zoom in, which I kind of like. Not the usual, but I mean, we're okay with it. The Raptors are coming off yet another win, this time versus the Charlotte Hornets, who, weirdly enough, did get an All Star uh, selection today that, we'll talk about a bit later. But, that's not the focus of the game right now. The Raptors pulled off another one, guys. I'm glad the Hornets seemed like they were going to come back in this game multiple times. And they didn't, which was good. So tonight, your Raptors defeated the Hornets 116 to 101, and that brought the Raptors record to 29-23 on the season. And this live show is produced by none other than Chris Howson-Jan, who's in the background. So thank you to Chris. Guys, let's get into the game really quickly. Pascal with another big game for the Raptors. 43 minutes played, 10 for 15. It didn't seem like a single Hornet could stop him. They tried Kelly Oubre. They tried Washington. They tried Gordon Hayward in the beginning of the game before he went out with an ankle injury.
R.I.P.
They tried everything. They tried everyone, and none of it worked. 10 for 15, usually means your defense isn't working. 24 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. Wow. Probably the player of the game for Toronto, but they did have OG, who had a big game. Fred, 20 points. Gary Trent Jr., 24 points. Really quick, guys, going into this game, what is making Pascal so consistent? And for me, I'm going to quickly say that confidence has been a huge part of Pascal's game. Last year and the year prior, I felt like he was waning in confidence at points, especially in the bubble a couple years ago. This year, he really, when you watch him, I really get the feeling that nobody can stop Pascal Siakam. And he knows that. And he's taking it to the rim. He's shooting confidently. Adon, what did you think about Pascal's game overall?
I absolutely love that point, Sahal. Like, it's so true that you can see his confidence, his like swagger is brimming. He knows that he can find, or he can take anybody on the floor. And I feel like this is one of his best offensive games in the sense that he did it from so many different areas of the court and in so many different ways. And against, like you said, so many different defenders. Like if he got the switch on Plumlee, he knew he was going to hit him with the pull up. If he had ball, he was going to muscle him down. Like he knows that he's the man. And some guys don't have a confidence issue. Pascal very clearly did at some point, and either it's gone or he's playing so well that it's brimming. Whatever, doesn't really matter. But like it is something to watch. And I was texting my friend during the game because we happened to bet on Raptor games, and when the Hornets were coming back, I doubled down on the Raptors, and that's not a typical thing to do with Toronto Raptors, right? Like when they're leading early and it starts slipping you away, you're like, here we go again. And that's not the case anymore. And so much of that has to do with Pascal taking over games, Freddie being clutch as shit, and OG being clutch as hell on both ends of the floor. Like time and again, he's getting a pick six when you need one, or he's getting a big stop on a primary score, or he's hitting that like weak side three like over and over again. And it's starting to become these are becoming legitimate wins because they're doing it in a like methodical clutch fashion over and over again.
Kyle, the second half was probably the most important half of the game, usually for Toronto, because when they have leads, it seems like sometimes they tend to give them away, and then it's just a back and forth game. But in this game, Jack Armstrong made a very good point when he said, the Raptors don't have to have 100% concentration and 100% effort in every single minute of the game. Like no human can give you that, as much as Raptors fans want that. They just have to give 100% concentration and 100% effort when the time comes. And in a 34-point quarter for the Charlotte Hornets, they started off the quarter really, really well, came out of halftime full of energy. Raptors scored only 24 points in the third quarter. The Hornets came out hot, and it seemed like every time they got close to the Raptors in the fourth quarter as well, they just couldn't close things out. Is that a testament to the Raptors and what they did?
Yeah, I think we all, like every Raptors fan, will take like the fake collapse over the fake comeback, because our staple for a
Yeah,
long time was like
for sure.
the like cut it to 10 points with 3 minutes left and then do nothing with it. And now it seems like the staple is go on a huge run in the second quarter and give up a lot of it in the third. And now they're hanging on. I mean, we'll take those wins all day. I think with the Siakam thing, that I don't necessarily know if it's a confidence issue as much as it's just like he's coming off a shoulder surgery and he's getting like more and more comfortable, more and more healthy, etc.
Yeah,
And
this might
so I
be
guess
honestly, Kyle, the first time we've seen him fully healthy in like 2 years, maybe.
a long time. And he
Yeah,
wasn't, I mean, mental health is health. Like he wasn't mentally healthy in the bubble either. So
yeah,
that's just another factor. But in general, yeah, he's sort of taken it to another level here, and it's you can tell he and we get into all stuff later, but you can tell he took that matchup with LaMelo pretty fairly personally, it seemed.
yeah. The refereeing in this game, which is what Oliver mentions right here, is something that was pretty interesting. There was a specific play that came to mind, and I don't know if we're gonna bring it up because we're a bit timid with bringing up plays now with how YouTube's been treating the Raptors Republic channel. But there was a specific drive in from Gary Trent Jr. where he got absolutely mauled by Gordon Hayward, and most of it happened after the shot attempt. But normally those are still called in the league. Um, and Gordon Hayward literally, made full contact with him and then fell on him, which got Gordon Hayward injured. I don't want to say funny enough because he did really get injured. An ankle sprain came out of that for Gordon, but it was very weird. And that call, I don't know how in the world that's a no call on Pascal Siakam. I don't like focusing on the referees and what they tend to miss, because I genuinely believe that these referees are the best in the world at what they do. I know it doesn't seem like that a lot of times, and they do make mistakes and they're very easy to judge. But in this game, things were really weird, especially when the Hornets were making a comeback. I just felt like way too much momentum was going their way, and some of that was being helped out by the referees. But I digress. It is what it is. Really quick, Adon, did the refereeing in this game kind of irk you a bit?
Yeah. I I mean, I get thrown out of games because refs irk me, and I have ref games, and I do know how hard of a job it is. So like,
Same.
I don't want to take things personally as a fan. It seemed like there was a couple of that Birch one where he's kind of like stepping backwards. That's an interesting call because it's like the contact was almost when he was outside the restricted area, and then he gets and then he gets hit into the restricted area, and so they call him for it, and like there were a couple of those calls, a couple on Scottie too, where it just seems like his hands are up and they're calling it on him. So I don't know, like it annoyed me, but I don't think it was like drastically horrible.
I will say on the Khem Birch call specifically, that was kind of an IQ thing for Khem. Like he could have easily just barreled over and fell back. Maybe he didn't spend long enough with Kyle Lowry last year to learn that. But in this game, like if he falls backwards, that is an easy charge. I think the fact that he just stood his ground made it a fairly easy call for the referees, even though I still think that's a charge because Oubre looks completely out of control.
Yeah.
And Khem Birch had, the right to be in that position as long as he was stationary for the most part, right?
I will say that we complain way too much.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Yeah. Pascal's braying at every call. Freddie stares down every ref as though he's an imbecile, and Gary's applauding like constantly, like ironically. And so I don't think that helps at all when when we have the refs. Like I would just never make calls out of spite at that point, and I know they don't, and I do think that like our all-stars don't get enough respect at the same time, but they don't do themselves any favors.
I think they also learned that from Kyle Lowry, but yeah, Kyle Lowry does not have a great relationship with most referees on the court. Off the court, I don't know what it is, but on the court, Kyle would definitely be all over the referees when he used to be a Raptor. Going back to the game really quick, guys, I spoke about how the third quarter was mainly the Hornets quarter, and then the Raptors scored 36 in the fourth quarter to kind of close things out. Besides Pascal in this game, because we usually talk about the bench and who impressed us or who didn't impress us. Um, who on the bench is probably the first guy that comes to mind for you guys that came into this game and made a difference? I'll probably ask Kyle first.
Yeah, I was actually just about to bring up this question if you asked me about the refs because I'm not interested in talking about it. So to bring up this comment,
Yeah.
it's Birch. It's Khem Birch. He's the man. Like I don't know if he's a bench player anymore. He closed the game tonight.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about whether or not the Raptors need to pursue a center. I don't really think that that's a need at this point, unless you're getting like a game changer. Because with the Khem, Precious, and Siakam rotation, I'm 100% on board. 100%.
Yeah, I looked at Khem Birch and I saw a tweet. I forgot who it was. It might have been from Louis Zatzman. It was from Louis Zatzman, Alex, or Will Lou. I don't remember who, but one of them said they were shocked that Khem Birch was being used in the fourth quarter to get his conditioning back. And I forgot who it was, and I really want to give them credit because they got a bunch of engagement on it. But
I actually don't think it was a conditioning thing. I think it was like he was on a minutes restriction type thing. Like he could only play so much, and they wanted those minutes when it mattered the most. He's really impactful. And I know, I get it. It's not showing the box score. Aiden made a big face in me, and I hear you. But I'm telling you, like before Siakam had come back from injury, I think that Birch was like one of our 5 best players. Pre-Siakam, like those first couple games of the season, things look really dark. And Birch was like the one bright spot in the entire team.
Yeah, I'll give Birch credit for one thing. He just always seems as a big, especially in this. I don't know. You can take this as an insult to Precious Achiuwa if you want. I mean, I think it's more criticism than anything. But I think that it seems like Birch, in comparison to Precious, just seems to be in the right spot all the time. Rolls to the rim really good. Has a very good floater for a big man. I've mentioned that before as well. Very good touch around the rim. Birch never seems lost, which I love because the other 4 core guys, when they're on the court with him, whether it be, Gary all the way down to OG or whoever is sitting, Scottie Singh, and the other 4 guys are on, it seems like Khem is never flustered. He just seems like, okay, I know what my role is. When these 4 guys are on, I'm going to do that role, and that's it. Aiden, do you agree with Kyle? With Khem, because I know another bench guy who had a pretty good game as well.
On the note with Khem, he's like the antithesis of Precious. It's like Precious is like he's that dormant volcano that could sit there for 80 years or could erupt in like 20 minutes. You don't really know. Yeah. Whereas Khem is just like a constant flow of lava, just slow.
He's a rolling.
I love that. Wow.
He's a rolling hill. There are no jagged edges. He's always very calm.
And it's like high floor, low ceiling, and so like that's okay. And I agree. When Khem was at his best, he really fits this team, especially defensively, really well. Can he be our quote unquote center moving forward? I'm of the camp that he could. I understand why people would say no, but whatever. As for this game, I was surprised you mentioned Khem, Kyle, because I thought just Boucher had another epic game. Like, I think
Oren.
Like Boucher's efficiency now in the half court is just excellent. He's doing all of the right things. He's being selective. He's crashing the boards. This guy, someone just tweeted out at Swirl Lasers, just tweeted this out, and I've thought about writing about this for a while. And it's that it's not actually a true stat, but Chris Boucher leads the league in drawn rebounding fouls. And it's so true. Like the way in which he crashes the boards, he constantly causes teams to have to foul him because he has an eye for the ball and he's working so hard. Yes, thank you.
There it is. Give Assad some love.
And I just think that he's fit exactly what we've needed from him. And defensively, he's a menace. And he played very well tonight. Charlotte really struggled with her length because they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn from 3. And so as soon as they came into the paint, they were just entrapped with all of our limbs. It was great.
Yeah, Charlotte. When I watched them, I mean, I was having some fun in a DM group tonight about the Charlotte Hornets, and I don't when I watch them. I think this is what their second time playing the Raptors. It might be their third. Um, I don't know what their identity is because it seemed like in the first half they were just drive, kick, high screen and roll with Mason Plumlee. If that didn't work, just keep kicking the ball out, and then it would be a contested three over and over and over and over again. Miles Bridges could not hit anything from beyond the arc. I mean, LaMelo Ball is undoubtedly one of the most fun players to watch in the league, and I know a lot of Raptors fans are saddened at the fact that LaMelo made the All-Star game as a replacement for Kevin Durant, and Pascal Siakam wasn't selected, even though I'm sure most of us can say that Pascal has unequivocally had a better season than LaMelo Ball, and has been playing at probably like an All-NBA second or third level these last couple months. But what I will say really quick on the Hornets is that I watch these guys, and it may just be a youth thing, but I don't know what they're trying to achieve. You have a very good pick and roll passer in LaMelo Ball, but you don't have a guy that really complements him, a really good roller. I know Steve Nash way back when with the Phoenix Suns had Amari Stoudemire, and those two guys just fed off each other all the time. I don't know why the Hornets haven't, decided, okay, we have LaMelo, who's absolutely incredible in the pick and roll, not just, in terms of his entry passes or whatever it is, but his ability to see the entire court, how teams react to the pick and roll. I'm sure he's seen every single defensive coverage that teams have thrown at him on the pick and roll. Why not get a guy like that? Why not get a guy that just, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a guy that really would fit well with the Hornets, a really good pick and roll big. Nothing's coming to mind. My brain's still melting, guys, like I said before we started recording. But I think that's what the Hornets are missing. I watched them, and it's almost like a mishmash of like Miles Bridges, who's a good player, very good player, MIP consideration. But I don't know. I just feel like to take LaMelo to that next level, you have to get that elite pick and roll big in there. And Mason Plumlee for me is not that guy. From the Raptors side, I watch this team, guys, and I go, you know what? I think we're really reaching the point where this entire team has understood now what it takes to play beside one another. Everybody seems to understand each other's tendencies. You're finally getting consistent bench play, man, which is something that I've been waiting for so long. At least you're getting it from Chris Boucher, who has been one of the more consistent Raptors of late. You're getting it from Precious Achiuwa, who I think in the last few games has not been a net negative, which I think has been a positive for the Raptors. He's been pretty good. Khem Birch is back, and then Delano Banton obviously just gives you some energy off the bench. Kyle, I wanted to ask you about Chris Boucher because I know you mentioned him, and a lot of people have been talking about him in the comments. He's obviously on Yahoo Sports. I don't want to say it, but he's on Yahoo Sports. I think he's on a podcast now. He has a podcast thing going.
Is that
with Yahoo
his
Sports
podcast, or was he a guest?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know if he was a guest or if it's his own thing. But a lot of Raptors fans are talking about it because he did mention a prominent Raptors writer. I'm not going to name who. You guys probably know who it is. But have you been okay with – because now we're really getting to the point, Kyle. I don't know if Chris is going to play like this, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. Take me off the bridge because I'm starting to lean closer to the keep Chris campaign. I'm probably going to start the campaign very soon if this continues, man. I don't know.
It's already started. I've already started
Okay.
it. It's official.
Right.
We're on the Chris Boucher bandwagon. I'm sure no one else can claim to be on it before some of these commenters, though, because I got to give credit. We were getting Chris Boucher support in the comment section back in November when it looked really bad for Chris. So we were against Chris because he was playing.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what to say.
Absolutely.
We weren't against Chris as a concept. We were against Chris and whatever not attitude. I don't know, his approach. There was his approach. It wasn't if you were just missing shots, it was a lack of effort or something. It was different than what it was.
And we were never against Chris as a man. Like, Chris is entitled to his own opinion, and I get that, whatever. But I'm back to basketball. Like, I'm 100% on board. I don't think that the Raptors can afford to lose him. He spaces the floor. He's one of the few bench pieces that can actually space the floor. And he's like, I guess he's like a hustle rebounder. He's like a Dennis Rodman type. So
Yeah, man.
whatever, let's go. And while we're here, I think, Adon, you probably would like to weigh on this. I'm gonna say like 12 average for like 3 years. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd want to go with 4.
Yeah, he's going to want to get 4 years. He's what, 29?
8. Yeah, he's old.
28?
Whatever. He's not old.
This
but
is
he's
like-
old
I guess
enough.
a comparable contract would be Dwight Powell. Signed in 2020, signed a 3-year, $33 million deal. So that's 11 per year,
That makes a lot of sense to me.
right? So
That's what I was going for.
Boucher's been durable.
Yeah.
Like he's, like, you know, like
very.
I can't recall really him having any major injuries thus far. And if he plays at this kind of level for the next 3 years, which he definitely can, I think I think 10 to 14 a year makes a lot of sense.
I'm glad you said that, Pinky. I was thinking the same thing. Like, why is his headband so wide? That's like the headband you wear when you're balding, which he had. Like, he has a good hairline. I don't know that's like what LeBron was wearing when his hair was really going.
Lou Zatzman tweeted saying he looks like he's walking off the battlefield of Verdun or something.
yeah. He looked. Yeah.
I did tweet it. It's looking more and more like hospital bandage.
Yeah, totally.
Every single game. I don't know.
We can't help ourselves on this Chris stuff, man. We got to chill out.
I know. I need to see a comparison though, because nice. Chris Boucher just showed up to his post-game presser wearing sunglasses and eating a lollipop.
Taking a page out of Gary Trent Jr.'s look.
Yeah. He just seems very focused on what his role is on this team. And some people may say, he's performing like this because it's a contract year. And I'll tell them, you know what? He had a very rough start to the year. He did. And I wouldn't necessarily say it would be fair to say myself, Kyle, Adon, Oren, everybody that's showed up on the show has been against him. We more or less just criticize players who are not playing well.
Up to
and the
their
focus
potential.
and not playing to their potential. And the focus has been on Chris Boucher because it was consistent. It was consistent bad performances for Chris. And now we've gotten to the point where almost every single, live show, we're mentioning how good Chris has played. And yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we don't have favorites. I mean, you guys know I favor some players, but I still criticize them. Gary Trent Jr. is probably one of my favorite Raptors because I'm a Duke Blue Devils fan. But if Gary has a bad game, I mention it.
You're a Duke fan?
I am. I've gone further and further away from them because being a Duke fan now, it's almost like being a New England Patriots fan, and I don't like that at all. So
that was a big surprise.
Yeah, it's like cheering for the bourgeoisie and the revolution.
Yeah, you don't seem like a Duke type of guy. You were like watching really critical of Grayson Allen.
Yeah, I was. Even though I did enjoy him at Duke when he wasn't trying to trip people, but I haven't really watched games. Like I know they got Paolo Banchero coming up and all that stuff, and they had Zion, a couple of years ago. But it's just they've really become like this team that everyone roots for. I miss the JJ Redick and John Shire days. John Shire.
Oh God.
Yeah, like as if that was a more like
like those are
the whole world hated.
God, I miss Carlos Boozer.
No. I'm not that old. Goodness gracious. No. Luol Deng? No, I don't remember those days. JJ Redick's as far as I can go. Really quick, guys, getting back to the game, because I do this a lot where we just go off topic and I just keep eating away at it. Ryan loves getting at me. In this game specifically, guys, because now we mentioned on the last show that the Raptors have a very easy schedule coming up. Chris, I don't know if you could bring it up really quick, their schedule. We usually do this at the end, and we will, talk about what we think their prediction is. But they just played Charlotte today, Monday night, and then they have OKC, they have Houston, they have a pretty good Denver team, and then they have the Pelicans, Minnesota, Charlotte, and Atlanta team they already beat, and then a decimated Brooklyn team. But to be fair, 21 days from now playing Brooklyn, it's probably not going to be the same Brooklyn team. But goodness gracious, guys, I mean, I know I'm known as like the negative guy and the pessimist when we do this and we guess how many wins. But honestly, what is that? 1, 2, 3. Well, minus the Charlotte game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. I wouldn't be surprised if the Raptors go 7-1, 6-2 in these 8 games. I really wouldn't. When is the next Raptors loss that you guys see for the team? Kyle, I'll ask you. Denver?
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Like that All-Star break, who knows what happens, like trade deadline type thing. It's hard to predict, especially teams like it seems like Minnesota and Charlotte and even New Orleans are all like, bound to make moves anyway.
Thanks,
but
Chris.
Off the top of my head, I think that's 7-1, maybe 2 losses to Brooklyn and Denver there. But other than that, like I'm pretty on board with this. And in fact, I remember last show I called 5-0, 4 wins, and we're gonna have to play the clip again. And I'm gonna really make a meal out of it on stream.
I'm seeing a lot of 5-3 in the comments. A lot of 5-3, which is fair. That's a very, I mean, you guys aren't taking risks. You guys aren't putting your neck out on the line. That's normally me. That's what I would do, 5-3. So then I can look back at it and go, you know what? The Raptors played better, so I win regardless. Adon, you're looking at these 8 games after Charlotte. Do you see like a clear-cut loss? I don't know if I do, man.
I think Atlanta steals one back, and I actually think New Orleans might sneak one out. Like if those are the games that I'm kind of highlighting, the easy pick is that Denver wins because Jokic is a nightmare, a literal nightmare.
That's what I was going to say.
But we do the kind of like scramble defense we play. I don't know. But yeah, I think like this is whatever our win-loss column is, it's like well over 500, which is good. I mean, especially with the top of the East right now is really faltering. I think Chicago's losing by 20 right now. Brooklyn's in a spiral. And so like, man, I speaking of, like eating or celebrating what we said in the past, like at the trade show last week, I said Eastern Conference Finals is plausible, and it like, things are really banging our way right now. I don't want to get overly excited, but like, yeah.
Yeah. This comment right here from Oscar. Whenever I say Chris, guys, by the way, Chris is our producer. This is why I always try and introduce Chris. And in the little conclusion we do, there's Chris and there's Don. So don't forget that those 2 names, guys, there are producers in the back that are working today. It's Chris. So when we ask Chris to bring up things, he's our producer. Because I know you guys see Adon and you see Kyle and you see me and you're like, where the hell is this Chris guy? Is Sahal schizophrenic? No, I'm not schizophrenic. He's just in the background working. Going back to the game, guys, really quick. I'm looking at the Hornets, and I think what helped the Raptors more than anything, and this is really, sad to say, honestly, because you never like injuries from either team, but Gordon Hayward leaving the game and forcing Kelly Oubre to play 38 minutes
I
and
was
finish
going to say that.
finish with a minus 18.
Oubre,
it's fantastic for the Raptors.
Oubre is a perfect example of Chris Boucher earlier in the season. Like Oubre playing defense, very excellent. He really messed with OG. He had a couple of good possessions on Pascal. He had a nice backdoor cut on offense and laid it in. Like when he plays within himself, he's actually a really good player. But when he shoots 5 corner threes and barely hits the rim on all of them, like fair enough, you're pretty open, but at some point you've got to check yourself and play within yourself. And that dude does not do that. I feel like if he came to the Raptors and went through a little Masai, Nick Nurse training, little Batman Beyond, in the caves, doing all that stuff, like maybe we could turn him into the player that he is. But like that's a good example of a guy like Boucher who's just not playing within himself, and now is excelling at it.
Yeah, for sure. Kyle.
Yeah. Boucher was never going like 0 for 8 from 3 though. Like even like maybe
he was auto chucking.
Yeah. Oubre had a particularly bad night. Listen, we were slandering Chris Boucher, but I won't stand for this. I have to put my foot in the sand. Boucher was never as bad as Oubre was tonight. Oubre like basically turned the game.
Yeah, he's horrible.
Poor
He
Gordon
really
Hayward, man.
is. I tweeted earlier in the game, like, I don't know. I guess defensively, Adon's right. He can be a very good defender when he's locked in. But overall, I just watch him full game and I think, like, what is this guy above average in? Because you watch him, it's a guy with a long wingspan. He can't really shoot all that well. He's a so-so slasher. He's getting paid all this money. I don't know. I just felt like he was one of the main guys, the primary guys that helped the Raptors, if anything, from the other team. He finished with 17 points. He was 7 for 17. Like I said, he was a minus 18, which was the worst in the entire game, probably by far. Because I don't really count Ish Smith being a minus 14, even though a minus 14 in 8 minutes is very, very bad. So
He had a terrible game.
goodness gracious, that's awful. But yeah, Kelly Oubre, 38 minutes, did not hit a single three. It was just all bad. It also helped that, one of the Hornets' best players, their apparent all-star, went 5 for 19. LaMelo Ball, 1 for 6 from 3, 15 points with a good old 7 turnovers to boot. Everybody, give it up. Give a nice round of applause for the NBA's all-star replacement, LaMelo Ball, who clearly, obviously deserved it over Pascal Siakam.
But we know that's a PR decision. He's a ball brother. He's a player that's more fun to watch. Pascal is a far better player, but LaMelo Ball is very fun to watch. He's exciting. I get it. I see where the league is coming from. I don't think it's like if it was like less of a popularity contest and more of like a some sort of legitimate definition of who like the ever 24 best players in the league are, Pascal will be in there. And Pascal will make all NBA and it'll be okay. So it's fine.
Right when LaMelo was announced as an all-star replacement, I was like, you know what? I kind of agree with Samson Folk from Raptors Republic. He tweeted something along the likes of, LaMelo's the fun guy, that the NBA probably wants in the all-star game. Pascal deserves it. Jarrett Allen on the Cavaliers deserves it. And Jaylen Brown's kind of like a mix of both. He'd be a fun player, obviously, to watch in an all-star game. I'm pretty sure he's made one, if I'm not mistaken. And then he also kind of deserves it. But again, he's a Boston Celtic, so who cares? I'm not with that anymore.
This real quickly, like I'm doing the Jose Mourinho, like I cannot speak. If I speak, I am invincible, but I have an answer to this one.
Yeah, no. Oubre, I'd love to see Oubre guard Oren. The size difference would be hilarious because Oren's like to Oubre's like knees, right? Because Oren's like 4'3". No, I'm joking. If Oren's watching this, Oren, I'm sorry. He hates when I make short jokes. But yeah, this is the exact tweet I was talking about. Whoa, Chris is on it today. Samson says, my thoughts, Pascal was the best player available for selection. Jarrett Allen has had the most consistent, full, great season available. LaMelo is going to be the most fun player you could select. And Jaylen Brown is maybe a mix of all three cases. That's where I am. That's exactly where I am. And I'm happy we brought up that tweet because that's where I stand. I don't know, Kyle and Aiden, if that's where you guys stand with the all-star selection for LaMelo. Are you guys pissed about it? No, I'm not the king of slander, by the way. I'm not. I think
Middleton fucked this all up. Like, he shouldn't have been selected. He's got basically the exact same numbers as Pascal, but he's not the number one option. He's not even the second best player on the team this year. So I think that kind of threw things out of whack a little bit.
Yeah.
I wrote that Pascal deserved an all-star spot before he just went on this tear. Like, I don't know, it was like 2 months ago now. So I've always thought Pascal was deserved. But yeah, I mean, good for Ball. It's great. Like, he will be so fun in the All-Star game. I think Freddie VanVleet deserves a starting spot over Trey. So, like,
for sure,
I'm the wrong guy to ask about this, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Chris Middleton. Why is he there? I never understood why that was a selection. I guess the Bucks are higher in the standing, so it's like, let's just get 2 in there. But in that case, just get Bam in there or Kyle Lowry or something, the Miami Heat, or I don't know. I mean, in that case, put Kyrie in. He's missed a bunch of games. Just put anybody. I don't understand the Middleton pick, but Kyle, do you?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I'm tired of this, like, pretending that this is a representation of who the best players are. Like, just screw with them. Like, screw it. Like, just forget putting the good players in. Let's just have the guys who can, like, who are the most exciting. Like, just make LaMelo a starter. Have like Hamidou Diallo in the game or something. Like, who cares anymore?
Okay, come on. Hamidou Diallo. Dwayne Casey would love that, by the way. Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Bring him to the Raptors too. Bring him. Bring Oubre. More athletic dudes. Bring him.
I'm not like super mad at it. Just because LaMelo is so much fun to watch, man. Like, if it was, I'm trying to think of a player. If it was like a Jaylen Brown, I'd be like, okay. Also, because he's a Boston Celtic, I'd be like, okay, this shouldn't be happening, because now it's like it doesn't make sense to have two Celtics in there. They're lower in the standings. It doesn't make all that much sense. But LaMelo's had a good season. The Hornets, I think, are 9th or 10th. I don't know after this game. He's had a very good season. Not as good as Pascal, but a very good season. So I'll give him his credit. And he's probably top 5 most fun players to watch in the league, I'd say, to be fair. Is that fair, guys? Top 5?
Who?
LaMelo
Top 5 what?
Top 5 most entertaining players in the league.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I would say so.
He's one of he's top 3 fun passers in the league. I'd say Jokic is number 1. Facundo Campazzo is number 2.
Oh, look at you. This guy, somehow we mentioned Campazzo's name on this wrap-up live. Just somehow, some way. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing about, guys. Let's not get to the point now, because we have almost 300 live viewers. Let's not do this thing where we post fake trades in the comment section and then you make people scramble to Twitter.
This is the sneakiest, worst fake trade I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
it literally moves the needle for nobody in any way.
Let's not even. I don't even want to pay these people attention, because I get it. It's a fun way to get attention, guys, in the comments to just post fake trades. Yeah, I get it.
He keeps going.
Yeah, he's just Rick Bonaparte. Like, I don't even know if that's a real person. That sounds like a Skyrim NPC.
Who's Paul Red? Is that Michael Red's like nephew?
You said a Skyrim NPC.
This guy is ringing up the most random. Like, if you said Mark Stein, Shams, Adrian, we'd be like, okay. I'm not gonna lie, his Adrian Wojnarowski tweet made me scramble to Twitter. I had to quickly go on his profile and go, no way, that trade didn't happen. But let's not do that, guys, because then people are gonna start doing fake Raptors, stuff, and it's just gonna get, the comment section is gonna become a whole shit show. Okay, where were we? The Charlotte Hornets game. We went completely off. Well, not really. We talked about LaMelo Ball making it over Pascal Siakam. Looking forward to the future, guys, because Scottie Barnes played a very good game as well. I liked what I saw from him. It wasn't overwhelmingly great. 15 points, 8 rebounds, a few assists. He did leave the game late because of fouls, but, I mean, the Raptors were up anyway, so it didn't really matter. The only Raptor in the starting lineup to shoot less than 10 shots. Are you guys okay with Scottie kind of being the 5th in line with, Gary, OG, Pascal, and Fred just comfortably sitting in that 5th role? And can he really develop and reach that? This is a super loaded question, I know, but can he really develop to where Raptors fans see him as a future superstar, with him being 5th in line in shots on this team, or in usage, let's say?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like, this is all he's not ready for being the primary option. And you're kind of seeing that because even if he doesn't have the usage, he's making rookie errors. Like, this was one of his worst games, I think. I feel like Scottie didn't play very well. Like, his head's in and out. He's engaged at times. He's disengaged. He had another one of those, like, fuck it, I'm not going to close outs on Terry Rozier. That was kind of ugly. And I'm not harshing him. I'm just saying it just wasn't one of his best games. And, like, that's okay. That's fine. But I don't think, like, we're retarding his development by not giving him higher usage. Like, I think this is exactly how you bring along a rookie. I always bring back the analogy of, like, NFL quarterbacks. Like, it used to be that an NFL quarterback would sit on the sidelines for 4 or 5 years before they really like Aaron Rodgers, I think, was on.
I was about to say Aaron Rodgers,
long time. And it's like
Yeah.
now we have this immediate expectations of players, which I totally get. They're better prepared than they've ever been, blah, blah, blah. But like, it's okay. If he's not like, Supremo being number one right now, that's okay.
Could it,
the other thing,
before I just want to say really quick, Kyle.
Yeah, go ahead.
On Scottie specifically, because I'm not going to change the topic where you have to like, you're completely, off balance here, but could it just simply be a thing where Scottie's almost overused in his first year? Because in Florida State, he played 1 year there and he was at 24.8 minutes per game. He wasn't this guy that played 30 plus. And I know it's rare for college players to play a whole lot of minutes because, to be fair, your team can be good either way. It doesn't really matter. With Scottie Barnes, he played 24.8 minutes. He comes into the NBA first year way more physically, bigger, stronger, faster. Everybody's just a super athlete in the NBA. And he's playing, I got to just double check this really quick. He is at 36, I was going to say 35, 36.2 minutes a game as a rookie. Could it just be like a fatigue thing for him? These closeouts that we're not seeing, these when he just lets a guy drive past him really quick, and you're just like, well, Scottie, why'd you do that? Because we've seen Scottie for 20 seconds out of 24 seconds of the shot clock play incredible defense and then kind of just gives it away at the end. Kyle, do you think it's a fatigue thing? Do you think there's a reason for it, or do you think it's just a rookie being a rookie?
Yeah, he's just a young guy. I think it's fatigue, both physical and also mental. Like he's just like, you get tired. It's a long season, and he hasn't done anything like, basketball wise, hasn't had a season this long ever. So, and in terms of just like the total distribution of shots, it's just like it's frustrating to me because I think I'm the one like leading the charge in this more than you two are. It's frustrating to me when you see like nights where Fred's shooting like one for 12 for 3 and like 7 for 20 from the field type thing, and there's like a bunch of guys who are shooting poorly, and Scottie has like 10 touches. That's what's frustrating. Or you see Scottie get like a really early like pin, like deep post position and transition, and he doesn't get the ball. All of that's frustrating to me. But on nights like this, like, no, he doesn't deserve the ball. He whatever. They won the game by a large margin, and everything else was working. So I'm on board with it.
Yeah, I that's one thing that has frustrated me is like young guys engage and disengage. Like that's kind of, being a youngin'. And it would be nice to design a couple more plays for him and like get him in those pivotal points where he can use his size, length, and intellect to really exploit. So like at the elbow, in the low post, like they stopped doing dribble handoffs. I feel like they've stopped, putting him in more screens, like on a weak side where they can let him get downhill without having to go ISO 1-on-1. And I understand that's because everybody else is on fuego right now. So let's just like focus on those guys. But I think like that's important for his development. And he does bring another dynamic to this team. We saw in the end of the second quarter and the third quarter, our offense really dried up, and like that would be a perfect time to just go to Scottie and let him get some reps.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like someone's getting. I was about to say, put your hands up, guys, because this is a question. The reason I mention this is because it's a question that always comes to mind for most NBA fans. What's the perfect way of developing your rookie? Do you just go all out? Do what the Houston Rockets are doing, tank your way. Jalen Green, we're going to give you 30 plus minutes a game. You're going to get all the shots you want. A lot of, I guess, what the Pistons are doing with Cade Cunningham as well. Or do you try and build, your rookie in a very good environment where he experiences wins and, close games and, moments in the game where your team really relies on you either defensively or offensively? What's the perfect environment? Or is it a mix? Is it a mix of the two situations? I'm obviously of the opinion that Scottie's in a very good place for his development, not literally, obviously. Well, literally with the Raptors, of course, because they have the best player development staff in the league. I think that's pretty known across the NBA. But I think Scottie's in a great situation where he can learn from a guy like Pascal, great playmaker, a guy who in a lot of ways mirrors himself. Pascal, all NBA level defender. And then he also wins. He has a very good coaching staff, not just Nick Nurse. Beyond that, Earl Watson, who's a very good player development coach. Nate Bjorkgren, who's back from the Indiana Pacers. I think he's in a very good place. And I'm not, a lot of people are kind of, I don't want to say worried with Scottie in the sense that, okay, his role has diminished with, I want to say each month of the season since the seasons began, his role's kind of diminished. He was like the third option or maybe even the second option when the season first began. And now he's all the way down to the fifth option. I'm not too worried about it. I've seen Raptors fans bring it up, especially on Twitter, which is why I wanted to bring it up as well. But I don't want to focus, too much on it. We'll talk. We'll have enough time to talk about Scottie later in the year. I want to quickly get into Taxman and our player of the game. Who is our Taxman of the night? Our Can-Am Taxman of the night. And Kyle, who do you think is our player of the game? I'll let you have the final decision because I know in a second we're going to get a barrage of comments from who people think. And then we're going to get the random guys who are like, Svi's the player of the game. Ha, 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 Malachi Flynn. But
I think this is an interesting one philosophically, but like whether we want to give the Taxman to the player who played the best or the player who played, rather the player who played above expectations.
That's a good one.
I think probably Siakam had the best game, but I got to give it to OG. I thought he had a stretch of like kind of weak ones for a while, and he had a nice little closing. And I'm really impressed. He's like completely staying within himself. Like the shooting display that this man puts on sometimes is ridiculous. Like he had a little isolation against Mason Plumlee. Am I getting his name right? Is there a different Plumlee? It's Mason.
No, it's
Plumlee.
Mason. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a little ISO against Mason Plumlee, got so little separation, and I hate to say it, but like so little separation for what should be like a forward on a center, very little separation, and just shoots over. Doesn't matter.
Nasty.
It doesn't matter. Like, and this is a good example of like he doesn't have to have the tightest dribble moves. He doesn't have to have like the best footwork all the time. That's just that's a tough shot. He is an absolute bucket. And it doesn't have to be off of the dribble. So I'm proud of him. I think he should this is the peak OG. This is a platonic ideal of like role player getting buckets. I'm with it 100%.
Adon, are you with him as well?
Yeah, I'm down for that. He had some like recently he's had some uncharacteristic like kind of turnovers or sloppy plays. But yeah, the fourth quarter belonged to OG. Like he really kind of sealed the deal. I'm happy to give him the Taxman. I do think on those. I wrote about those step backs and fadeaways, and it occurs to me that like he's clutch almost because when he focuses, when the moments are important, he focuses a little bit more and he gets like his legs under him and he puts the power into his shot. And you could see like the shot clock counting down. It's exactly what he did against Plumlee. He had a great fourth quarter. I'm happy with him being Taxman.
Yeah, I would be totally fine with OG, Pascal. Honestly, even if someone said Fred, because I think Fred hit some big shots as well in this game. But OG starting off very slow, and this is another thing with OG that I mentioned on Twitter as well. He hasn't really shot all that well from the 3-point land up to his standards this season. He's at I think 35.8% before the game. I'm not sure what he is at now. And 2 years prior, so last year and the year prior, obviously the bubble year, he was hovering around 40%. So OG's not where he needs to be from 3-point land. And in this game, he started off slow. Obviously ended it. I believe he was 2 for 7 from 3. Yeah, 2 for 7 from 3. But again, dominated inside, 8 for 18 from the field. When you shoot 2 for 7 from 3 and you finish off 8 for 18 from the field, you know you did well on the inside. And like you guys said, took advantage of the Mason Plumlee matchup. So I'm okay with giving it to OG. And as you guys can see from the top part of the screen, VJ Verma from Can-Am Tax, you can call him at 416-243-2912. And Can-Am Tax is a full-service business accounting and tax firm with an experienced and friendly staff that can help you get through this tax season with absolute ease. They also provide personal tax preparation and can recover all the refunds that you're entitled to. They'd be happy to help the Raptors community, so check out their Google reviews and visit Can-Am at www.canamtax.com, or you can call VJ Verma at 416-243-2912. I know some people are sad in the comments that we did not give the Taxman of the night to Pascal, but guess what? Pascal's probably going to win like 20 more this season, so it just is what it is with the way he's been playing. I mean, it just is what it is, and OG hasn't If I remember correctly, guys, OG hasn't gotten Taxman. We haven't given it to him in quite a while, right? Or am I?
Look,
I don't think
all
we
I'm going
have.
to say is like you guys are too invested. There's no bonus. There's nothing. You
Oh
get
no,
nothing from being the
you get a
taxman
Dude,
other than
you
like
get a
This
DM
is
from me. You
this
didn't know
is
I've been
very
DMing
important. Are you
players.
kidding me?
I've been
Okay.
DMing players the entire time.
Yeah, man.
Telling them that
I
they won
take it
Taxman.
back.
This
Yeah.
is
No,
absolutely important. VJ, every time somebody wins a Taxman, VJ opens an offshore account for one of the players.
See, that was good. That was good.
I
Yeah, I've
started
been
to walk
DMing
back
players
my
telling them they've
statement.
won Taxman the entire year, and I haven't done one reply. So obviously it matters and it has value. Let's do questions, guys. It didn't feel like we've been live for 50 minutes. Let's do questions because I know a lot of people have been asking questions throughout the live stream. And obviously, guys, if you are watching, we have 301 people live as of this second. So please like the stream, guys, if you enjoy what you're watching. If you enjoyed the Raptors win, even if you're a Hornets fan and you somehow found yourself on the Raptors Republic channel and you heard that little bit of Mason Plumlee and Kelly Oubre slander, if you agree with us, like. If you disagree with us, like the stream. We have so many commenters, which is absolutely nuts. I don't know where that guy went that was, releasing all those fake trades. I don't know if Chris might have, our producer might have just blocked him straight up, which I don't even blame him for. But that was pretty fun. That was like one of the highlights of the stream. I don't know what the hell that guy was thinking. Really quick, guys, give us your questions and we will answer them. We will highlight them and we will answer them. The first one comes from
a couple here.
Malik Crowsdale.
100,000% no.
He says, do you think Davis Bertans would be a good player for our bench? You know what I need you to do, Malik, really, really quickly? Do me this favor, okay? I need you to search Davis Bertans. That's his name, right? Davis Bertans?
Davis
Bertans.
Search what his salary is.
Yeah, that's
Please
the problem.
just do me that one single favor. And I know people would be like, oh, well, we're paying Dragic this much anyways. There's no way I'm paying for – yeah, there's no way I'm paying for a 4-year contract. I think it's at $15 million or something like that a year. There's no way I'm doing that for a guy with his skill set. There's just no way. He's not a terrible player. He's a good player if he finds himself on a good team. But the Wizards were just like, you know what? I think Grunfeld, I'm pretty sure, paid him. He's like, you know what? This is my ode to the Wizards before I go. Let me hand Bertans an $80 million deal.
Sam Decker made Bertans look silly in that preseason. It was just like, for 2% of the salary, you can get the same player.
Disgusting contract. Absolutely nasty. Swami
I'm going to pretend this was
Lingam.
Swami asks, I think yes. It depends really like the direction you want to go. If you want to get younger, this is an awesome trade. If this is a championship team like Aiden believes, then no. But I'm really, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I'm really high on Jalen Smith. It's just like really athletic guy. He's going to learn how to shoot in Toronto, and he's super young. I don't know. I'm all in on Jalen Smith, I should say. Jaden Smith too, though. Music's fine.
I put this in our trade column. This is one of my proposals. I think I put Elfrid Payton in there as well. Why not? But I'm out. I take it back. For what Kyle said, like Boucher is too valuable for our playoff run. I'm not doing it. But I could see Masai doing it. I could see it.
Yeah, Jalen Smith, he's having a better year than he did his rookie year last year, where he looked like honestly a complete bust in the games that he did play. But it seems like he finally, at least somewhat, seems to fit on that team. He did play versus the Raptors and he did look okay. Like this is a guy that is athletic, long wingspan, has a little bit of a shot to him, pretty good finisher at the rim, but his defensive potential really stands out. But I don't know, man. Like at this point, I'm on the boat where if you're going to get rid of Chris Boucher, you better get a pretty damn good rotation player back in return, because Chris has been playing out of his mind recently.
It's also
almost
worth
with
noting,
too much passion.
It's worth noting the Suns picked Jalen Smith over Tyrese Halliburton. So that's just, if you're a Suns fan in here, you just caught a stray. I'm sorry, but like that is rough.
The one thing the Kings have done right in the last 2 decades. Wow. Good for the Kings. Next question. I don't know if it's Chris bringing these up or Aiden, but Phoenix, who's one of our most loyal listeners, I know, who I know likes to stream every single time he watches, unlike some people who watch this. No shots. But Phoenix says, can we talk about Khem not fitting this rotation anymore? Phoenix, you might get some disagreements in the comments.
And you might get some disagreements on the stream. I
from Kyle himself.
I think he's like, I think Khem is like the thinking man's Precious. Like it's like he's like a more elegant, calmer version of Precious, and I'm fine if he takes 100% of the Precious minutes going forward. I think I'm not that I'm low on Precious. I think Precious
100%.
I maybe not. Well, no, we need a bench guy, so no. But like. If
let me ask you this:
is dead set on running the same number of guys, I want Birch over Precious all day, and maybe not for 10 years, but for this year, I'm all in.
In game 4 of the first round, we're down 2-1 in the series. Does Precious play any minutes?
I think.
Is our roster the exact same?
Yeah.
So I was going to say.
We just presume obviously that they make no moves at the deadline, right?
Yeah.
Down 2-1. No, man. No, I don't think so, man. I think you go with the core 5 guys, Khem, Chris.
Core 6.
Oh, yeah,
if you
core
include
6,
Khem,
I
it's
guess
core
you could
6.
say. Yeah, core 6 and then Chris. I think you just roll with a 7-man lineup. I think that's it, man. It's weird because like there's no real guard, I guess, positionally in that lineup. You just have a bunch of point forwards and big guys, but I think it could work. I'm not doing it. Yeah, I don't know.
I think, like I said, they think they're antithetical towards each other, and if you could put them together, they'd be a pretty great player. So I think it will be contextual, but I think Precious's defense is top. Samson's written about it. Like, we have to acknowledge that his 1 through 5 defense is very good. So I think and Khem's is not at the same way. He's a better team defender, but he's not a better one-on-one defender. So I think there's room for Precious to play, and there's times where Khem won't play at all.
Yeah, and this is obviously the main, gripe with keeping Chris Boucher that JT mentions. He says Boucher might leave in free agency and get paid somewhere else. He probably will if the Raptors keep him, and that's the trade-off, right? Do you keep Chris and you keep him for a potential playoff run, and obviously for the rest of the regular season, or do you trade him for a guy that maybe has a little bit more of a contract length? You don't maybe a little less of a player, more guy that's more controllable from his contract perspective, and that's the trade-off. That's what you do. Do you give away a very good player or not? It's a tough one. I don't know, man. I'm getting closer and closer. Every single day I'm inching towards we keep Chris and we just roll. And we kind of see what we have in free agency. But yeah.
Fred said recently in an interview, like the additions of the trade deadline might just be guys coming back healthy. And that's Khem. Like that could just be the center that everyone wants. The depth center that Oren has been writing about for like 2 months could just be Khem. Could just be Khem showing up again. And again, look, buddy, no one's saying there are people in here going crazy. No, I'm not saying Khem's like the piece that takes us over the top. Like this team has just been waiting for Khem Birch, but I think he is one of the 6 best players in the team, and I'm going to stick with that.
6.
Over Chris. I like the hot takes,
Let's
guys.
move on quickly.
You get 20 seconds to take that back.
No, I'm not going to. I refuse to.
Okay, what's the next question? Matt T asks, thoughts on San Antonio Spurs guard Lonnie Walker to Toronto. He's been a guy that's been like hovering around trade rumors for quite a while now. I believe his contract ends this year. This is his contract year, so he'd be looking for an extension. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 85% sure. I don't know because I like Lonnie Walker, obviously, but I'm not going to lie to you and say I've watched a ton of him. I know he's a super, super athletic guard. This is a guy that I probably wish and pray is in the dunk contest every single year. And just, I don't know if they're just not asking him or whatever it is, but I know he's one of the most athletic guards in the league. And he's kind of been rounding into form these last few years as a combo guard. But I don't know. I think the fact that he's owed an extension at the end of the season will kind of take him out of play for us. I would like a guard that maybe has 2 years, 3 years on his contract. That would be nice. A guy that's maybe a little bit better or fits better than Malachi Flynn, where you don't necessarily have to force Delano Banton to maybe play playoff minutes when it comes down to it. But have you guys watched Lonnie Walker enough? I don't know.
I ask myself the same question every day. I look at my Dynasty fantasy team and think, do I drop him?
That's as far as you'll go with Lonnie, huh?
Yeah, well, he's small, and these small guards often take time to really like come into form. So
yeah.
If you're right about his contract, like I'm kind of reticent to take him on and unless it's like for nothing, I guess. But it's not exactly the kind of guard we need. We need somebody who can shoot better than Lonnie, and I would say is a little bit bigger.
Yeah. While we're in San Antonio, I'll take Derek White though.
Sure.
Lonnie's hair is awesome too. I got to give him credit for the hair. Like you got to have a lot of confidence to go.
He does have fucking hops.
He cut it though, no? Or am I tripping? I'm pretty sure he went.
It's 100%.
I think he went to a buzz cut now. I remember reading like an article that was like the meaning behind his hair or some shit like that. I don't even know, but yeah.
Lonnie Walker is 6'3".
Yeah, he's
getting up to 6'6".
Smaller combo guard.
Give him credit with the hair. I'm sure he's up to like 6'7".
I don't know how he was jumping like that with his hair like that.
There was that clip of Elfrid Payton's own hair like blocking his jump shot. That's an all-time classic.
You gotta love Elfrid Payton, man. Yeah,
so
Nurkic.
He has a qualifying offer for next year, which.
So he becomes a restricted free agent this offseason, I'm assuming, with San Antonio?
I think so, yeah.
Where they have first rights. This isn't a question, guys, but I noticed a lot of people in the comments are mentioning Jusuf Nurkic, who has been like a popular name amongst Toronto Raptors fans recently. Jakob Poeltl, of course, he's been here before. People love him. People have been following him for quite a while. But Jusuf Nurkic particularly has been a guy all over Raptors Twitter, all over. And his recent comments with Norman Powell leaving Portland and the direction of the franchise have been intriguing, to say the least. I think he's the next one out. I think CJ is also leaving, CJ McCollum. This is a really good question from Abby of the rumored bigs Toronto wants. And I think we've gotten this question before. I think we actually got it during our trade deadline preview show.
Yeah.
We did, right?
Yeah.
We'll answer it again, I guess, really quickly. Of the rumored bigs Toronto wants, Miles Turner, Jusuf Nurkic, Jakob Poeltl, who fits the best?
I'm just going to interject and say I would be astonished, and I have zero insider information. In fact, I'd probably be complete opposite, that Boston would trade Time Lord. I don't know that he's, and especially to us, but I don't feel like he's the problem with that team. So I'm kind of surprised that like he's on the market, or if he is, or if Boston would trade him. So
he's also their third most valuable asset. Like it's not, I wouldn't even put him in the same like range as these other three guys because the price is just way higher. So
exactly,
the fit will be different because the Raptors will be losing significant pieces. But I actually think that I might be going Turner regardless. Like Williams is a better piece for the future, but I just think that the spacing is so bad sometimes, and Turner really alleviates that.
I'm taking Nurk because he's expiring, I believe, and
he may be.
And I don't think he fits our team as well as other players, but I think like he would cost the least. And I think he would serve as our, like the problem is again, like we have so many bigs on our bench. So like, what does that entail as well? But I think Nurk off the bench would be really nice for us.
Oh, so you wouldn't start him?
No.
He is on an expiring. He signed a 4-year, $48 million deal in 2018. So in 2022, this offseason, he's going to be a free agent. I wouldn't mind Nurkic.
You could package Nurk and somebody else, and make that Goran money, and then if you want.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him at all. Because I just have this feeling that the Raptors are going to run into the 76ers at one point, and if the Raptors run into Joel Embiid and Khem Birch is our best option, I might have to start doing wrap-up live prayer circles where we don't even wait to go live at the end of the game. We just do 24-hour live stream prayer circles for what Joel Embiid's going to do to this franchise. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with all four. It's just like Kyle said, they're all going to come at different prices. So it's very tough to say I want this guy over that guy or this guy over that guy. Karis LeVert just got traded for a first, 2 seconds, and Ricky Rubio. So I'm assuming the Miles Turner price is going to be absolutely insane. Good deal, by the way, for the Cavs. I'm not a big Karis LeVert guy. You guys probably know that by now, but good deal for the Cavs. Do we have another question or should we wrap it up? Damn, we're at an hour and 5 minutes, but we have 280 people here looking at my ugly face, and I don't know how you guys have lasted this long looking at this.
Should we? Before we wrap it up, like, do we want to talk about? We will be doing a trade deadline show live. It's on Thursday,
Yes.
so it'll be another double show day. Trade deadline's at 3 Eastern, correct? Which means that we'll be live from maybe 1:30, maybe 2, probably 2, because a lot of trades get announced after the deadline anyway.
Yeah,
and
the deadline's at 3. Yeah.
So as a little preview to that, like, what would you rank the needs for the Raptors right now? Because personally, I think the biggest need is what I want most is a good center, a center that would start every game. If that's not an option, if the only option is a bench center, I think the guard is the spot they should look, and then finally bench center. So basically what I'm saying is that if they can get like a piece that really like alters the course of this franchise, like at center for whatever, for this run or for years to come, I think that's the biggest need in general. But otherwise, give me a guard. Give me like another bench scorer, like Gary Trent Jr. 2.0 type guy. Take turns with Gary. Thank you, JT.
Yeah, I think we talked about that on the last show too. I think like we're consensus that scoring combo guard is kind of like where we want to go.
Yeah.
Depending on what we do with our bigs, but yeah.
A guy who can ball handle, a guy who can shoot and isn't a massive liability on defense. I know that's asking for quite a bit.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys in the league that would fit that bill. And to be quite honest with you, if we're getting a guy who maybe isn't even known for his defense, I'm okay with that too. As long as he's not known to be a massive liability, I believe in the player development staff to kind of get them use this second half of the season almost as, I don't want to say a scrimmage run because it does obviously matter, but just get them in tune with things before they get to the playoffs, because we're going to have to rely on that player that comes in hypothetically. Who knows? Raptors may just stand pat, and we might just do a trade deadline show where hundreds of people join and they're like, all right, Masai, time to pull the trigger. And we're just looking into space and nothing's happening. I think we're going to wrap it up there. The next game, Chris, if we can bring up the schedule one more time, I believe the next game's Wednesday night. Wednesday night in OKC. We're facing the resident Canadian, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then it's a back-to-back. We'll be back Thursday night, Houston, and then Saturday, Denver as well. 7-1, guys. I'm going 7-1. I'm going to go 7-1. That's what I'm going to do. I don't know who the one loss is coming against. It may even come against a team like Minnesota, but I'm going to go 7-1.
You can't lose doing that, because the inverse of that, you get egg on your face.
To be fair, though, guys, when I am a pessimist, the Raptors usually play well. So me going 7-1, they might just fall apart now. I might just be ruining the whole. Exactly.
Give me
before you guys leave us.
Give me
6-2.
And
Kyle,
I'm with Adon. The losses, like one of the losses, is going to be like a real weird one. Like they're in New Orleans and they just get overrun. They shoot really poorly and it's over by the second quarter type thing. And they make that classic fake comeback.
Jonas Valanciunas, 30 points, 25 rebounds. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. JV revenge game. I'd be here for that.
I'll do the Price is Right strategy and just go 7-1 or 6. Yeah, 7-1.
7-1.
I'll split the difference.
Okay, that's fair. Before you guys leave us tonight, we need you to like, comment, and subscribe to the Raptors Republic channel. I don't know, guys, like how we're here almost every single night and you guys still aren't subscribed, because I feel like you come here anyways to watch us. And obviously a lot of our subscribers, our spectators who even aren't subscribed, have a lot to do with our success. So we want to obviously thank them. I try and thank you guys as much as possible, because truthfully, if we don't have a live chat, this is almost like myself, Kyle, and Adon just hopping on the phone together and just talking about the game. So we appreciate you guys more than anything, really. This was the wrap up. This was the Raptors Republic live post game show where your Toronto Raptors defeated the Hornets 116-101, bringing their record to 29-23 on the season. The win streak continues. This live show was produced by none other than our guy in the background, Chris Howson-Jan. Thank you, Chris, for everything. That was it for myself, Sahal Abdi, Adon Moss, Kyle Brickman. Follow us all on Twitter. And if you can only find Kyle Brickman's profile or Adon's profile, go through his following. Do that extra, and try and find me and try and find Chris. And follow us all because we tweet some funny stuff. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys Wednesday night. Take care.
Peace.